In this lesson, we will examine some tips that we've not yet covered in this module, and we'll look at some very important tips that are worth repeating. The most important tip is to make a habit to engage in the passage. And at numerous times throughout this module, I've stressed this. Be sure to make this a habit before test day, because the stress of the test environment can cause many students to lose focus. Next tip is to read GRE-like material in your spare time. This will allow you to practice your reading comprehension skills even when you're not studying with official materials. To help with this, you should seek out reading material that's similar to the passages found on the GRE. The next tip to consider is to practice your note-taking skills while reading, regardless of what you're reading. So if you're reading a magazine, journal, or newspaper, practice summarizing each paragraph in fewer than 10 words. And when you're finished reading, see if you can create a concise summary of the main idea. Another way to strengthen your reading comprehension skills is to give your notes a one-day challenge. To do this, read a reading comprehension passage, and as you read, summarize each paragraph and identify the main idea. Be sure to record this on some scrap paper. Repeat these steps with 5 passages, but don't attempt any of the questions just yet. At this point, put your notes away. Then, after one full day, see if you can answer the questions using only your notes. Now, you probably won't be able to answer many of the details questions, but you should have some success with the general questions. Alright, this next tip is an important one worth repeating. You need not learn or comprehend or memorize every single piece of information in the passage. In fact, attempting to do so will only hurt your score. Remember that this test is mainly about the big picture. An important component of the big picture is structure. So as you read a passage, be sure to note its structure by asking, what role does this sentence play? Another important tip is to use your noteboard. Some students feel it's easier to keep information in their heads and that writing on the noteboard is a waste of time. The truth of the matter is that taking notes on the noteboard saves you time in the long run because it forces you to keep your summaries brief, which in turn helps you identify the structure and key elements of the passage. The next tip is to analyze your progress. In order to improve, you must be an active participant in the learning process. So after you've answered a series of questions, review all the solutions, not just those you answered incorrectly. If you answered a question incorrectly, determine where your notes were lacking. Also be sure to identify the types of questions that give you the most trouble and determine why you're having difficulty with them. Through careful analysis, your reading comprehension scores will improve. Finally, my last piece of advice is experiment, experiment, experiment. At the very beginning of this module, I noted that there's no one strategy that will be the best strategy for everyone, and the strategy that works best for you will depend on a wide range of factors. So try the strategy outlined in this module, but don't rule out other strategies. You may find that the best strategy for you happens to be a collection of several different approaches, but you won't know until you experiment. You can do it.